Guys, welcome to another video in the Nitro Barn. I thought we'd start this one out answering a few questions from the last video, and then I've got a little snippet on how our oil pumps work, and I'll explain a little bit more on main lines and why we get these things doctored up so much. First question was from Gabe Boas. He asked, how long did that actually take to assemble a short block? It depends on how much damage a short block's seen to how much stuff I need to check and things, but I'm not the fastest guy out there, but it's usually between 3 and 5 hours. Sometimes it can take me a whole day, depending on what we're measuring or if we're checking some extra stuff to try to find a problem. He also asked how many we typically have. We like to come to the race with 5 or 6 short blocks assembled and ready to go. Clay Milliken asked, will that motor go fast? If Mike Klober, the crew chief, puts the right tune in it and you, Clay, step on the loud pedal plenty hard enough, it should go plenty fast. And then, I can't say his name, it's Rev Run something, asked a few questions, and we're going to video some of what he asked. The one thing he asked is what our tolerances are. So for what I deal with, the mains are, with the bearing clearance is about 5 to 6 thou, and the rods are real similar to that. So I hope that answers his question. And then he asked me what the front plate I was bolting onto the front of the motor. So there's a few things we put on the front of the motor, so I'll flip this camera around and kind of show you what those are. Okay, this is the front of the motor I put together the other day in that time-lapse video. And the big plate here that goes from the top here down to the bottom is what we call the gear drive or gear drive cover. And so you have a gear drive, crank's got a gear on it, there's an idler gear, and then up here behind the pump extension is the cam gear, and that, so they drive. And so it's got all of our locations for our triggers and our degree pointer and our TDC trigger. There's that one, and then to that we have the pump extension, and the pump extension has a drive that drives from the camshaft that drives our fuel pump. And then on the top is the front plate assembly, which is the front motor mount, which these come down and these sit right in the frame rails. And then it also helps hold the mag drive. And then it also, this assembly here with these 3 points, and this holds the idler pulley for the blower. And there's a bracket that goes on the front of this to set the idler pulley. So it's pretty robust because we're running, a ton of boost. And then it also has these little supports on it. There's 2 of them, and there's little arms that come down from the blower to just help support the front of the blower, and so you can tighten that belt without trying to cock it on the engine. So I hope that explains a little bit of what you were thinking about on what we put on the front of the motor. Okay guys, this is the next block of line that I need to work on, and I need to measure. We got it back from the machine shop, and I need to check the main line. One of the reasons these things get worked on so much is yeah, we hurt them a lot and stuff because Nitro's really hard on things, but it's also just the sheer power that we make, the sheer forces that generates, moves material around. So these are, forged billet blocks from Alan Johnson, but the main webbing in here, pretty robust, but it's all aluminum, and so are the main caps. And just overruns with as much force as we put on them will actually just move that material. You'll move this main line and make it not straight, or in most cases just make it bigger, so our clearances get too big and then we start losing oil pressure. So they do a lot of things to tune them up. They can machine it down into the block a little bit more, which raises your crankshaft, but you can get it tuned back up that way and replace caps, and then they remachine it and line bore and line hone it. The other thing they can do, and we have a lot of blocks this way, and we kind of like it, is they can put in a saddle. I don't know if you can tell from this from the video or not here, but this here is number 2, and then number 3 behind it, I don't know if you can really tell, but it's a lot bigger taken out of the block. And what we have is what they call a saddle, and this is what the saddle looks like. They're manufactured, and then the machinist can take the saddle, machine the block out to receive the saddle. Get this down in here, and then they can put it down in there, put the cap on, machine it, and then they can reline hone it and get our main line right back to factory specifications. So those are handy, because then once you've got it saddled, then generally all they have to do is put another saddle in it and tune it up, and you can keep doing that for a while in a block. I hope that answers some of the questions on why these things get worked on a ton. But it's what it takes when you make 11,000 horsepower. Hey guys, this is one of our System 1 oil pumps. We take these apart quite often because if it hurts itself or whatever, gets trash in it, we want to take it out, get it out of gears. Take a look at the gears, make sure it's still good. So I thought I'd show you kind of what one of these System 1 pumps looks like real quick. They're pretty simple, there's not a lot to them, but they work really well. They're driven off of the mag drive, so the bottom of the mag drive goes into there, and that's what drives the pump. Cover off. We'll take a look at the end plate to see what kind of, if any, damage it has or new damage. Looks pretty good, a little bit, but that was from when we kicked the rods out of it a couple races ago. Pull this gear out, take a look at it. One little ding. Oil out. Pull this one out. And the gears look really good. They haven't taken, got a couple little nicks in them, but not a lot of damage. The other thing we'll look at is, because it's aluminum, we'll look at the housing. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but there's a couple scores in there, but they're real light. So it's pretty on par with what we would expect to see for what's went through it. It's still a really good pump. So we'll just clean it up here a little bit. And then we'll clean it up, and then we'll pack these with grease. And the only reason we pack these with grease, there's a little lubricant for the ends of it, but the main reason for packing them with grease is to create suction as quickly as possible, so we draw oil as quickly as possible so the motor isn't dry any longer than it needs to be. So on this, this is where we run to our pressure gauge, and this is the bypass, so you can adjust how much pressure. If it starts getting beat up enough, it starts to lose a little pressure, you can always turn it up a little bit, because we do run a lot of oil pressure compared to what you would normally see in a normal automobile. With our 70 weight, it's pretty high to take that kind of force. Cap and the relief, if this had swallowed a bunch of stuff, we can take this out, and there's a spring deal and an O-ring and stuff, but this pump is fairly new and there was really no trash in it, so it'd be good to go the way it is. Plug on it, nothing can get in there. This guy's ready to go back on the car. That's it. System 1 makes a really nice product. We carry a ton of oil pressure with these things and a ton of volume. It's amazing. But that's it in a nutshell. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and like and subscribe if you like what we're putting out there. You want to see these come. Appreciate it. Have a great day.